anime shirt on.
Hey, yo. We got the anime shirts on. Look, all three of us are weebs today. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Episode 63 of Life is Daijoubu. My name is Cole, and I'm joined by Skylar on the end, rocking is a hookah shell necklace. We got Thane sporting the same shirt he wore last time. He's been wearing the same shirt for 2 weeks in a row.
It's a new record.
It's a new record.
Jeez. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that for like quick little
the 2 week
computer
thing.
Yeah, Thane's rocking this shirt for 2 weeks.
There was an old Vine where it's like, bro, didn't you wear that shirt yesterday? And he literally like has a little curtain over something, pulls it out, and it's a washing machine.
Oh, he just shows his washing machine?
Yeah.
I see.
It's like, I have a washing machine.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Wait, how many shirts do you have in your weekly rotation thing? Do you have like 7 shirts, one for each day of the week? Or do you have more than that?
I have more, but
I probably have like 12 or 13.
I just literally throw it on top and I just pull the ones out on top. I never dig.
Well, you don't hang up your shirts?
No.
Monster.
I just put them in the shelf.
He's a
do you fold them?
No, I just throw
monster. He's a monster.
You're just like, these are clean.
Oh no! How could you, Thane? You're supposed to not do that.
I can't do it. I like to hang on my clothes.
I hang them up too.
Because what I do is I have more shirts than days of the week. But I also have like exercise shirts. I have these long sleeves, which it's cold now, so I bust it out. And I like to wear them in order. And what I mean by that is, let's say I have like 11 shirts, and when I wear this one, and then I'll wash it, and then I'll put it in the back. So I cycle through all my shirts.
I see.
I'm definitely not a fit guy. Where
Mine's I want to wear this one today, and so I put it on.
See, most people are like, I got to match. I'm just like, I wear pants and a t-shirt every day.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't do that. I do hang them up. I don't hang up my work shirts. I do fold them, though. And
I fold those as well.
Thing. But, like, all my other shirts, like, this was hanging up before I put it on. Yeah. And I just thought, yeah, this one looks like it's good to wear today. I think I got 12 shirts in my rotation. So.
I guess I just consider these ones, like, a little bit nicer, so I don't want them to get wrinkly. I want them to last, I don't know, or maybe it doesn't freaking matter. I don't know if they last longer if they get wrinkles or not. Like, I don't think that changes anything. But wrinkles is a thing. Like, they do just wrinkle in general.
It's the washing machine that does that.
No, it's you throwing them into your closet and not folding them that does that.
See, that's why I hang them up. I want to prevent wrinkles as much as possible.
The washing machine and the dryer do not create the wrinkles. It's leaving them unfolded that creates the wrinkles.
So you're talking about how they shrink.
No, we're talking about wrinkles.
No, they definitely shrink. You're right.
Yeah. That's why you do different temperatures. Like, I tend to wash all my stuff in, like, a lower temperature, like, not hot or warm, kind of like a cool. So that way, because hot water messes with colors and shrinks.
We're going to get roasted for being the Trash Taste podcast again, because now we're not even talking about
We're not even talking about anime?
God,
sorry about that, everybody. We'll talk
not
about
Trash
anime.
Taste.
Don't you worry. We got an anime podcast for you today. We've got, like, a little bit of news to talk about, and we've got the seasonal stuff that we talk about. I mean, it's like week 1 of the seasonal stuff, more or less, so we can briefly talk about how we're enjoying the season so far. And of course, at the end of the show, or rather the latter half of the show, we'll be talking about Thunderbolt Fantasy. I will refrain from calling it anime just so I don't get the internet yelling at me.
Screw those guys. It's anime.
Let's go. I like to be a contrarian when it comes to that subject.
I understand, and I don't agree actually with this. I still think it fits the same niche as anime does. I don't know if I'd call it anime because it's just straight up not animation.
Sure,
but I would call SpongeBob anime more than I would call this anime.
But it has a combination of animated effects. So where does that fall in now?
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No.
Freaking got him.
This is just Avengers 4.
It's just Avengers 4, but anime
You
mode.
dab in 2024.
You like that?
No.
So I'd rather do that than call this anime. I'd rather call SpongeBob anime. No, I'm not even kidding. Like, if we're drawing a line, I don't know if I'd call this an anime just because it's not animated straight up. But I would happily call Cat Dog anime over this just because it's drawn.
I completely agree with what you're saying. technically.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I'm going off.
Oh,
of.
just technically.
No, yeah, it feels like an anime. Watching this, I'm like, yeah, it's just freaking written and everything like an anime.
Yeah, it would be it's like a live action anime, but instead of having actors, we've got toys.
But don't you worry, we'll talk plenty about that in the coming hour, within the next hour, or whatever it is. But before we do that, we do got to talk about a little bit of the news. We've got, I think, 4 or 5 shows that we can talk about quickly that have gotten anime announcements. We're a little bit behind on the news as we go. We'll not deny that. But we've got 4 right up here. It's the first one is Blade and Bastard, light novels getting an anime. That's by the Goblin Slayer author, which is kind of cool. Goblin Slayer is fun. I didn't know that the Goblin Slayer light novel was done, or is he just writing this in tandem? Any idea?
Multiple authors, light novel authors, write multiple pieces at a time.
Yeah. Next up, we got The Two Perfect Saint, tossed aside by my fiance and sold to another kingdom, is getting an anime. We all know that. We're all watching that. That's going to be a day one watch. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all jumping on that one.
Totally.
We've got I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire is getting an anime. It's a light novel. Oh, the other one was a novel, it says. It doesn't say light novel, but
That looks like a hot boy right there. It's a straight up hot
I
boy.
saw the picture of this, of him and then like the girl that was in the show, and I'm like, it just looks like Code Geass, but like modern art style. That's kind of what it looked like to me.
Zoomer Code Geass.
Zoomer Code Geass. Next up is The Holy Grail of Eris, light novels, gets an anime.
Did not know Metaphor had a T rating. There's a Metaphor ad right there.
Yeah, we're getting some ads. There was another one. I don't know what it was or where it is, but I do know that The Beginning After the End is getting an anime adaptation.
Oh, yeah. One Piece, the anime, took a break.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Oh, Oda. I saw Oda was also taking a 2-week break to do research.
Yeah.
He's
But
got to go research how to end the series.
Yeah, but the
He's never done that before.
But the break for the anime is not on here. That was a while ago. They said they're taking like a break till 2025.
Ah, there it is. It was
Did
Gosho Oyama Yaiba Samurai Legend. It's a manga getting an anime.
That's Gosho Ayamiyama's the case closed guy.
Gotcha.
Or Detective Conan.
Oh, Gosho Aoyama. That's the mangaka. I don't know why I didn't put that together.
Why can't I?
The left
up
side?
there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, The Beginning After the End is also getting an anime. I have read the manhwa of that. It's not complete, and it's actually in a bit of a I don't know what to call it. I don't want to say development hell, but kind of. Yeah, that kind of fits. They finished up a big arc and like was at the beginning of another arc, and they switched studios, because the way they do manga a lot of times is like studios that draw it all together. They switched studios. That studio I think did like 5 to 10 chapters, if that, and said, yeah, we're done. And so like another studio is supposedly picking up, and so like who knows what's gonna happen. So it's gonna switch art styles with like 3 times within like 10 chapters. And that's a little unfortunate. Originally it's a light novel though, and I've heard nothing but good things about the light novel. Like if you like the manhwa, you're gonna love the light novel. So it might be one of those that I pick up someday too. But I think the anime is gonna be fun. A lot of people are very speculative and don't think it looks very promising because the animation studio that picked it up doesn't have a great track record. It's the same studio that did that futuristic F1 but anime girls are driving race cars anime we had a couple seasons ago. It was all CG. I don't know what it was
ugly.
called. Anyway,
did any of us watch it?
I thought
No.
you might have for like an episode, but dropped it. But I couldn't remember. Anyway, I'm still optimistic. I hope that it will be good because like I said, I do like the series, and I'll probably pick up the light novel at some point. So, without further ado, let's talk about the season and how we are enjoying the season so far. Shall we?
Sure.
Is that the beginning of the season noise? Is
Yeah,
that what
sure.
that was? Okay, gotcha.
For me, this is
October's almost already over. It feels like It feels like the season hasn't even really started.
I kind of feel that way too.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that way too.
yeah. Like I'm only 1 to 2 episodes into each of these shows. Except for Uzumaki, that one is actually almost done, although it's only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I would say that this season for me is all over the place. There's not like a theme for me. Like last season was
The Summer of
the
Love.
Summer of Love, and now we're in Fortnite Fall, where it's just a goulash of everything.
Oh, that's good actually, because all the characters in the Fortnites and they're all hanging out.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good, very good.
Thanks. I'm having fun though. I enjoy it.
I'm kind of with you there. There's a couple shows that I haven't even started because I don't know why, but they're on my list and I haven't even started, and I do plan on watching them. But there's just something that like made me go, yeah, I'll hold off on that one. I know I promised one episode of that one weird show. I still have not watched that one episode yet. I do plan on still doing it, so. But I mean, like the other shows I've been watching, I mean, I'm enjoying. There's one huge standout, obviously, that we can talk about, and we'll talk your ear off, I'm sure, about it throughout the rest of the season. But overall, the season for me is just kind of just okay, I guess.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like I'm
There's
having
always
fun.
There's always one banger that everyone's going to talk about.
How are you liking the season so far, Thane?
It's a lot of sequels, and I'm trying to play catch up with 2 of them right now. Maybe a third one if I get time, but right now just 2.
That's interesting because this is the first season that I haven't had a sequel in a while. I have no sequels.
Interesting.
I gotta look now. I'm curious. I feel like I have a sequel, but maybe I don't.
I have a few carryovers and Gun Gale. You watching Gun Gale?
I'm watching that.
I haven't started that one.
Okay. That's one.
That is a sequel for me.
Shangri-La Frontier. I like the first season. To watch the second one. MF Ghost.
Yeah, technically a sequel.
Yeah.
Mine's a good half because Thane keeps bringing up the sequels. And also ReZero Season 3. That's also coming out this season.
Yeah.
Oh! This isn't like news or anime season adjacent. It's just been something I've been meaning to talk about for like multiple episodes because I got very excited about it, and I get reminded every single time because it's a Shonen Jump thing. Mm-hmm. Sorry to go off topic here, but I just think this is really cool. I don't know if you guys remember a couple years back, maybe 3, there was a manga that I was really into called Candy Flurry on the Shonen Jump app.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, the duo, the artist and the writer, they teamed up again. Were able to put out another manga currently in Shonen Jump. And I remember chapter 1, I'm like reading this and I'm looking at the pictures. I'm like, there ain't no way it's these guys, right? There ain't no way. And I look it up on Candy Flurry. I'm like, it's the same people. Like I could tell from the art style and everything. Even the writing style is kind of similar. And I'm very into it. It's pretty dang fun. It's called Ninja something. They're undercover ninjas, undercover shinobi. I think that might be what it is. Undercover
Naruto
shinobi.
Shinobi Strikers?
Yes, Naruto Shinobi Strikers.
Shinobi Undercover.
Shinobi. That was close. Yeah. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I'm very much so enjoying it. Everybody should read it so that they can support these people, so they can get their manga continue going and Jump, because it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun.
If you're in Japan.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah. I mean our reading doesn't really affect it too much. I guess we got Kagurabachi. That's about all we've done in the West.
Jump Plus. They don't really care about manga
Thanks,
plus
Internet.
numbers that much.
Memes, bro. Kagurabachi memes.
Actually, Kagurabachi has jumped up in popularity now after Jujutsu Kaisen ended.
If it wasn't for America, though, I think that would have dropped. I think, or the internet rather. I think that probably would have been dropped.
I like its movie arcs. Like each arc feels like a movie.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
I need to probably just start that one over.
It'd be a good binge, I think, at this point. It's got cool world building and stuff. It's not bad. And just like what Thane said, I think because Jujutsu Kaisen ended, there is a very empty hole, and people jumped on it. And now that manga has over 1 million volumes in circulation.
Wow.
I think it's got 3 volumes in publication, but like still between the 3 volumes, over 1 million. Like it
That's
makes
insane.
Like just because I think it's just because JJK ended and it blew up. And keep in mind that has not been published in English yet. It's been literally just Japan that million has been sold.
Dang.
So like I think ours comes out next month. Our volume 1 comes out next month, I believe. So
Are you guys going to be collecting that one?
I'll probably collect it.
I usually don't collect Shonen Jump stuff that much, so I don't know.
I'll probably collect it. I enjoy it enough. Anyway, sorry about that tangent. I just was very excited about this, and I just kept forgetting to bring it up. Very fun, though. Undercover Ninja. moving back into talking about our
season?
seasonal anime weekly shows, is there a show you guys want to bring up right now to tell everybody that they should be watching it because you've seen at least 1 or 2 episodes and you thought, dang, this is incredible. Why aren't people watching this?
I saw one that's probably fly under the radar, but I saw one called Orb. And it's just like a sort of fictional account of like discovering that the Earth revolves around the sun rather than the sun revolving around the Earth. So
I remember you were
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about that.
yeah. You were telling about that because it's
Yeah.
like set in Europe somewhere, right?
Yeah, and it's just one of those like well written like historical manga anime things, and it's like, wow, this is pretty good. I think it's has potential to be a big hit. Well, as much as like it's kind of a more niche that people be interested in, but it's a good show. That's what I'm trying to say.
Nice. I don't think it's up my alley, but like maybe. So that might be one of those ones I look into at some point. But
You know what
If
could
you
be
like
fun?
shows like Vinland Saga, it's kind of maybe not
I
as
still
like
need to try Vinland Saga though.
It's not as action oriented, but it's like the historical
Storytelling.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
It could be fun to like talk, since it's very early on, talk about shows kind of like what you're saying, like to keep your eye on. Because I mean, we can speak up and down about Dan to Dan because that was the one I was probably going to bring up. But we could like point out some other ones that were like, yeah, this has a lot of potential. Keep your eye out on this one if you haven't seen it. Like 365 Days of the Wedding. I think that was really fun. We're only a few episodes in. I don't know how popular the manga was or not.
I don't know if it's that popular. I mean, I read it, but it was enjoyable. I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't have like a official, readily available translation when I read it. I'll just put it that way.
I see.
There might have been like physical books, but they weren't complete at that point. I guess the one I was gonna bring up, I gotta look up the name exactly. It's Suma Show. So this is another one that I tried to read manga probably 4 or 5 months ago. Probably 4 or 5. That sounds about right. And essentially what it is, it's about this guy and his daughter. His daughter is like 21 or whatever. And they're just, essentially coping with the fact that their mom and wife passed away 10 years prior. And they're just living with their life. And then one day, a little girl knocks on the door and says, I'm your wife / mom, by the way. I was reincarnated.
What's that one called? This is one I actually wanted to watch.
It's called Suma Show. Now, when I was reading the manga, I did stop. I don't necessarily think I stopped because I got bored of it. I definitely didn't. I think it's because I saw the anime announcement or something, or I saw that it was going to be coming out, so I decided I'll just wait for the anime because I wasn't like super invested. That said, it seemed like there was a lot of really cool routes that this show or this story can take, and it has a lot of really interesting and unique things that it will do. So I'm excited to keep going with it. I think I'm an episode or 2 behind. I've seen 2, and there's 4 total, so I'm 2 behind currently. I'll probably be watching more anime after we record this, actually, because I've been binging our show that we were watching over the past couple days because I was slacking with that one because of a live action show, Sumi. Brooklyn Nine-Nine has been engrossing my life for the past month. Been rewatching that, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm in season 5. Anyway, Suma Show. It seems like it's a really cool one. I think you specifically would like it because you like interesting stories, and it's pretty cute. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call it a rom-com because it's not necessarily a rom-com. It's more of just an interesting story. I don't know what else to say. The girl, so basically, like the premise going farther is that the girl didn't have any of her memories for her like years 0 to 10, and then like one day she was like walking by her old house, and all of a sudden all of her memories came flooding back. She's like, "Oh shoot, I'm actually reincarnated," and then story goes from there. So cool stuff. I think it's going to be very fun. So that's one, I guess, to keep your eye out.
My husband want to be like Jeffrey Epstein.
No. They make jokes like that, kind of. Not like Epstein, but like they do make jokes like, "Hey, you can't like talk to me in public, you weirdo freak," or whatever, that kind of stuff. So like they know what they know what they're dealing with, and so they play it very lightheartedly, which is good in my opinion.
Yeah. So there's 3 that I wanted to talk about, 2 which are really popular, so I'm not gonna say much about it. But like Dan to Dan, it's amazing. I have to go say 3 Hail Marys and apologize to these 2 gentlemen sitting next to me because they've been telling me how much I've been missing out on this one. They've been telling me to read it for like 2 years now.
Probably 2.5. Maybe.
Probably 2.5 years.
I jumped on probably like around chapter 30, but Thane's been reading since chapter 1. I'm pretty sure.
Chapter 10. Whenever I saw it on the website, like it's like, oh, what's this?
I think Thane mentioned it to me. Around like chapter 30, and that's when I jumped in.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm not even gonna say anything else. It's really good. Ranma 1/2. Very interesting story. I love the plot device they're using. I'm really on board with this one. Very fun.
Rumiko Takahashi with a banger.
But the one to keep your eye on, because I find it very... I'm just going to lay out the plot, but it's called Yakuza Fiancé, and there might be more to it. I think it's a lot longer of a title, but I'm just going to call it that. It's this girl's grandfather tells her to go live with different people. Honestly, I can't even remember what the whole reason was, but they're just like, hey, go live over here. You're still in high school. So while she's there, the Yakuza, so she goes to live with the Yakuza, and the son of the Yakuza is like wanting to find a bride. And so the dad was like, okay, well, he's buddies with the grandpa. Girl gets there. The girl's kind of a little pushover, and she doesn't really like this guy. Like, she's seen what the Yakuza boy does. He does terrible, horrible things because he's in the Yakuza.
Like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he kills people.
Oh, gosh.
Beats them up. Like, there's one scene where she's like, guys are hitting on her or whatever. Like she's in an alleyway. He comes up and beats the hell out of all of them, and she sits there and is literally just watching him over this dude, punching his face in. And then she's like, wow, this guy's a freak. I don't want anything to do with him. And she tells him that, and he's like, you suck. Go back home. Leave. And so she calls her grandpa, and she's like, hey, I want to get out of here. And he said, 1 year. I want you to make this boy fall in love with you in 1 year and then break his heart and drop him like a rock. And so, man, I'm pretty excited for this one. It was definitely a curveball. So
you know how telegraphed the ending is, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
I swear I've seen something very similar like this where they're trying to fall.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
It's something like that, dude. It's like
yeah, but then of course they're gonna fall in love.
Yeah.
That's how it's gonna end. But yeah, it's super fun. It's I think I'm 2 or 3 episodes in. It's very interesting because at the end of episode 1, she gets real bitchy to main boy, and she like walks up to him, drops like, I think it's like a couple million yen on his desk at school or something, or a couple 100,000 yen. And she's like, I sold a kidney. Here's your money, bitch. And then she's like, goes total dark. And then he's just like puppy dog for her now. He's into that kind of stuff. So it's fun. I'm going to enjoy that ride. So
I hope that one keeps it up. If you get about halfway through the season, you're still like rocking this ride, like let me know. And if not, then maybe don't even bring it up. So I don't be sad about it.
Will do.
Oh yeah, did you hear about Blue Lock season 2?
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard anything about it. I just know it's airing.
Well, did you hear about the animation?
Is it not good?
No, it's bad.
That's unfortunate.
You're just gonna have to see it. I saw the clips. I'm like, oh.
Is it
Lord.
worse than Uzumaki's episode 2?
Probably on par. It's just as bad as Tower of God season 2.
That's one of those that I will probably be watching at some point because
your buddies.
Because my buddy
And then
really likes Blue Lock, but I told him I'm gonna wait for the dub.
Is he waiting for the dub too?
No, he's watching it right now. I don't.
Probably gonna watch the animation. Be like, what the hell?
Well, I guess we're not gonna get Blue Locked in this season, are we, guys?
Yeah. I dropped that thing halfway through season 1.
That's unfortunate because, like I did say forever ago,
better.
that's where it starts getting better. Is right where you dropped it. I don't blame you though. I'll just preface that too. I don't blame you for dropping it.
Well, I didn't think it was gonna get any better. Like there was little hype moments throughout that first half of the season, and I'm just like, wow, I actually enjoyed that part. But then it's just like,
I think you just got to be like into the subtle hints of BL every now and then. You're kind of like, oh shoot, will they, won't they?
You have to be
into soccer.
You have to be into soccer.
Which I'm not into soccer, so I guess I'm just into the potential BL. Will they, won't they? Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our seasonal talk. Do you know what time it is, guys? It's time to finally start talking about this show that we watched.
Taiwanese puppets.
No, this is just Jim Henson, the anime.
No, it's Taiwanese puppets, and let me explain. Here's the
Thunderbolt
history.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alerts.
Thunderbolt
for that show.
Fantasy, Season 1. Here's the history. So, a long time ago, back in I think the 90s, there was a TV program in Taiwan called Pili, which is the Taiwanese word for Thunderbolt. It's similar to those old British shows like Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, all that, like with just puppets. These are glove puppets, so they could move the hands and have motion, whatnot. So a famous anime writer, the writer of stuff like Fate Zero and Psychopaths, Gano Robochi, notices this Taiwanese puppet show and is like, "That's cool. Let me get my company. Let me get Good Smile and Feel Plus to make a deal and let's make a show about this." And they decided to call it Thunderbolt Fantasy, and they got the guy who did the Attack on Titan music, Hideki Sawano.
I think it was like episode 4, and it starts that classic Sawano swell.
Yeah.
I'm just all like, there ain't no way they got him to do the music.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. I'm like, they freaking got him to do the music.
So this is a very high class production.
Yeah, it's very high.
Sawano's didn't stay for season 3 through 4 though. He's just season 1.
The music freaking bangs in this show,
Yeah.
dude. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so that's how it came to be. Like, famous anime writer sees puppet show and it's like, let's make it for Japan. And so
How long ago? Like, how old is this?
2016?
2016, yeah.
And the show came out in the 90s in Taiwan?
Yeah. This has no relation. Thunderbolt Fantasy has no relation.
I think it's just
to
back
Oh,
these
so he
puppets.
just saw it.
Peely. Yeah.
He just saw it. And I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's more recent that he saw it.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2014 or 15.
Yeah.
Knowing nothing about this Peely, I'm just assuming it's just using puppets.
Yeah, it just uses puppets. If you look up footage, it's just puppets. Like, it's the same as Thunderbolt Fantasy. And I'm pretty sure, like, early days, they started to use, like, camera tricks and, like, special effects to make the characters all fly up in the air and stuff and, like, shoot lasers out of their swords. Stuff like that. Apparently, this one's, like, more anime. Like, the characters are more anime-like compared to Peely, which are more, like, traditional Taiwanese or Chinese characters. But the odd combination of anime aesthetic and puppet shows works really well. I didn't think it would, but it's like, this is fun. This is unique.
I think the part for me where I'm just like, oh, I like this, was I completely forgot I was watching puppets. I was so engrossed in the story and the combat and the special effects that I forgot I was watching puppets.
I guess it's time that I reveal my big secret. I feel like just like everyone's mom saying, "What are you doing watching those cartoons?" I could not get over the puppet thing. I thought it was fine, and I can see the appeal, and I figured it out. It literally took me like a good hour or so, literally just thinking about the show, trying to decide for like, what the heck is my problem with it? It's facial expressions. There are none. You get blinking occasionally and some minor mouth movement.
Yeah, they couldn't really operate that mouth, which
and
very
so
well.
as a result, there's zero facial expression, and apparently my brain needs that to really enjoy something. So as a result, I just never really got super into it.
Well, there's parts where I think for me, you have to embrace the cheese when it comes to puppets.
Oh,
And
yeah, sure.
The fact that I grew up watching like Jim Henson stuff, I'm more able to digest it or accept it.
I will say it's the same with animation, I think. I think you have to get to the point and just accept that this is animation. I think that's why a lot of the older generation have issues with animation because they can't take it seriously. They grew up thinking it's all comedic and comedy and stuff.
Right.
We see puppets and we go, oh, it's Elmo or whatever, you know. We think it's supposed to be like funny or goofy or even for kids or something.
Kids, right.
And I think I was able to get over that. I don't think that's why I rooted my issue to the facial expression thing.
I see.
That said, I still didn't love the puppets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like puppets in general. They scare me a little bit, I guess. They look weird and they freak me out. That's probably other issues. I don't think I've got any weird histories with puppets, but maybe if I went to a shrink, they would tell me that I've got something wrong with puppets, but who knows? Regardless, I thought the show was fine.
There were parts where I almost thought they should have just strayed far away from that and just embraced the puppetry because like they tried to make some of the characters emo, like the girl when her brother dies. There's like a tear that flies out of her eyeball,
and the blood blood they spit out.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Especially
go ahead.
Especially the monsters. They should have really made puppet models for those because like that CG sometimes rough. The rock golem thing.
Yeah, the rock golem thing.
Yeah, they could have just made a puppet for that, and they also could have made a puppet for the bird, the vulture-looking creatures,
the evil demon birds.
Yeah,
like the dragon thing that would fly in.
They pick them up and they fly away.
I thought that the final demon boss was like very uniquely designed, but it's like it would have looked so much cooler if it was a puppet. Like that would like. All the detail they would have put into it if it was a puppet. It's like, yo, that's sick, but like it's still fine because it's a really unique design for the demon.
So I will say another thing. This is probably the thing I like the most, which was the main character, the dude that used the wooden sword or whatever that faked it.
Oh, spoiler!
Oh, he said spoilers.
Hey, wait about that. So like it reveals that instead of using a real sword, he just uses a wooden sword painted silver. And there's a scene where he uses his wood to blow a guy's back out. That was like the coolest kill where he just like hits the guy's stomach with the wood and
with
just
a stick
blasts his back and you see his ribs pop out. It's like, yo, that's sick.
So I liked him. I thought he was funny. I thought literally episode 1, there's a line that I even wrote down because I thought it was so freaking funny. It was he goes they ask him, why are you even helping this girl, or why are you doing this? He just goes, there's a Buddha back there and then in the rain, and so now I gotta save this girl.
Yeah.
So like this freaking guy's so funny.
Well, I took that too as like, oh well, we just need some push the plot forward. Let's go. Let's do it.
And then my favorite episode was that rock golem episode, literally because it's just making fun of him, and I'm just like, this is good. This is peak. He just go off and do this thing while we just sit here and watch. That's the whole That's the whole episode.
Going back to the wooden sword thing though, as I picked up on it early on, because every time he would sheath the sword, it would clank like wood. I'm just like, what the freak? No one else does that.
No,
that sound is very satisfying. Like sound. The sound design's really good.
Pieces of wood clapping together.
Yeah,
they emphasized that and wanted you to pick up on that. So
every time, and he was the only one. Every time he would sheath his sword, it would make the noise, and they would like
hyper
zoom
focus
on it.
Yeah. There were a couple times in fights, if you look at the sword, it doesn't look like the rest of the swords that they're using. And that's kind of like, I knew something was up with the sword. I didn't realize it was wood right away, but I was like, okay, there's something weird with his because it doesn't look right, And I could see the edges look dull on it even. And I was like, whatever.
But even characters point out like his sword looks dull and his skills also look dull. Like he could easily kill someone with a single punch. So why doesn't he? It's like, you clearly tell like this guy's holding back something or like something's weird with him.
And his whole Gilgamesh reveal at the end was pretty dang sick, where he whips out the freaking all the swords. I mean, granted, it wasn't quite Gilgamesh, but it's very fate adjacent, which is funny.
So he's like, oh, there's a big demon. Actually, I have just a sword for this.
Okay. So if we're going to critique the plot, that's my critique right there. We go through this entire 13-episode journey to end up exactly where we started. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed is that they killed the bad guy. Yeah. Like, they literally sealed the same demon in another sword thing, like, same exact seal, same exact group of people protecting that same sword by also just protecting the hilts of the sword. I'm just all like, did you not learn? People, no wonder why there's 4 seasons of this show. No, I imagine that girl and that guy with the one eye now. I bet they're not even in the seasons 3 through 4. It's probably just the other 2.
Yeah, it's just the other 2. I bet you they make cameo appearances or something.
Yeah, or if it's like years down the line, they got their kid or something.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, the best part of the show was honestly just the puppetry. The fact that they were able to make some of the fight scenes as freaking cool as they did. I did not think that that you could blend puppets with special effects and make it work, but they really did. I think you're right, though, Thane. I think the only parts that really pulled me out of it was the CG monsters trying to interact with them.
Yeah.
And also some of the fight scenes, like the pacing of them it felt
Yeah,
like I
the
was
camera-
on crack and it was
yeah.
sped up.
Yeah, the camera.
Oh, so many cuts.
Yeah,
Mr. Beast editing.
Yeah.
the camera like was a little too close sometimes. It looked very confusing, very like.
And I think they did that to
Yeah.
like hide some of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
yeah. Oh shoot, I had something. Oh.
But I do
it's
like how
lost.
when they actually like when people like enemies die, like they actually cut the part of the puppet and make like the head fly off.
Yeah,
Or, like have the
totally.
blood come out. Like when someone gets stabbed, it actually has the blood leaking from the sword.
Yeah, well, in
It's like-
episode 1, when that dude freaking stabbed his own throat
Yeah,
and then
that
freaking helicopters it and his head goes flying,
that
I was like, what the heck am I watching?
I remember what I was gonna say. Going back onto the puppet thing, I think this would have been a more enjoyable thing for me personally if I went to like a theater and watched them try to recreate this story with puppets. Obviously, it wouldn't be as perfect, but I think I would enjoy it better like that, seeing it live rather than watching it after the fact.
kind of like a 2.5D play.
I mean, they don't have
Yeah.
to be moving around like 2.5. You could
Yeah.
be literally like the whole, like they got a box and like lift their arms up, and go, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I'll get over the puppet thing. We won't have to talk about that for the rest of the time if you don't want to. But last thing is just, I don't know. It was off-putting, I think, a little bit to me. When I realized that Thane picked this one, I was like, oh shoot, on what? I went in with bad thoughts in my head, and that's kind of also I think what got me. So I'll get over it though. Don't you worry. We'll just
For me, that was the best part. Is I love
puppets.
the puppetry and I love the music because I agree with you.
the
I think
music rocked.
The
Music's
plot,
awesome.
the plot was just it's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh yeah. The plot's just
Definitely a serviceable plot just to move the characters.
It's literally just the JoJo's Part 3 or the Fellowship of the Ring of the puppet world.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It's literally build our squad and then have the squad fall apart for some reason or other, and then some of them die.
Yeah. Turns out two of them are.
I'm surprised they killed a lot of them in this one.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a lot of death in this show.
Yeah, two of them actually betray him, and it's like, well, expect the demon lady, but the bow guy.
Yeah,
well, the bow
that
guys,
was kind of unfortunate. I was like, not the bow guy. The bow guy's
Yeah.
cool.
He
You
was
can't
cool.
do it.
Yeah.
Legolas, you're not bad.
I know. His brother was in there
Yeah.
too. He's like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, it's
It's like, didn't you learn
It's cooler.
anything? It's like, you're not-
she got big demon boobs. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you want.
Oh, that was another thing I was going to point out too. Was the puppets were so detailed, like their clothing, their
Yeah.
weapons. I'm like, dude, this is.
Every time they would like splash like blood or water on them, I just got thinking, man, they gotta redress these puppets again. How many like different puppets did they make for every individual character? You think
well, they made when they did that fake when
the clone or the
when they did
disguise.
the clone disguise they had to make two puppet heads.
Yeah, I'm assuming they had like 10 of every character, so they
Yeah.
could like swap in and out of scenes really quickly.
Yeah. I did not watch that episode 0
I
behind
did
the
not
scenes.
either.
Did you, Thane?
I watched it a while ago, but he just talks about how the process of how it came to be.
Oh, he doesn't talk
was
about like
made.
there's not like behind the scenes. Of
No, not
making
really.
It.
It's just a more promotional. It's like, hey, this is how it came to be. It's airing this day.
See,
Go
I would be
watch
more interested in behind the scenes than
There might be somewhere on YouTube
The
behind the
inception of
scenes. Yeah.
I thought that was like a 5-minute thingy before the actual episode 1, and I'm watching. I'm like 5 or 6 minutes in, and I'm just all like, wait a minute, and I like hover my mouse over it, and it was like episode 0. I'm not watching this. Oh, yeah, it's a fine show. It's your classic 7 anime. It's literally like, right, it's the swimming in sevens anime, right? Nothing too deep, nothing too crazy, but also not bad by any means.
I think if you really like puppets, then this is going to be right up your alley. Because like I said, that was my favorite part about it. I was really shocked that they could make puppets work like that. Because going back to what you said earlier, in my head, I kind of associate puppets with like being a kid and kind of the goofiness of puppetry. Like any Jim Henson film is what I think of. Like The Labyrinth, Elmo, or what's it called? Sesame Street.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Dark Crystal, isn't that got puppets in it?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
And what's the other one with Kermit? What's that called?
The Muppets.
Kermit
The
the
Muppets.
Frog.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like that's what I associate puppets with. All the puppetry is that kind of stuff.
What's the most popular cast of puppets called again?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I agree, and like, I sadly I did go in with like preconceived notions, and that definitely muddled my enjoyment of it. But overall, like, I was just okay.
Well, and like I said,
I'm
I definitely
fine.
think it's one of those things that if you don't like puppets, then yeah, I mean it's gonna be it's gonna stifle your enjoyment of it. Because I agree with you. I think that facial expressions are a big thing. That's why I was saying when they would do it, it's like, oh, don't, just stop.
I had a hard time distinguishing who was who and who was talking sometimes as a
Yeah,
result
yeah.
as well.
I felt the same because they weren't always zooming in on people's faces.
Yeah, sometimes they're just talking off screen, and I'm like, well, I couldn't barely put this voice to a face because I can't even see who's talking to begin with.
Yeah, the two that were very distinguishable for me was main princess girl because she had a very light voice, and then blonde-haired boy because he was kind of annoying.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
But everyone, like Eye Patch Man and Main Boy, that melted together, even with white-haired guy. I don't even know their freaking names.
Yeah,
I don't know any of their names.
The problem is they got all these Chinese names, and then you hear the audio track, the Japanese track, and they say different names because you can't really translate Chinese characters well to Japanese, so they give like more Japanese names, and I wish they would just had the Japanese names in the subtitles that we watched.
Like the big sword they were going after was Jing Ting's sword or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's the Chinese god of war.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I know what that is. But every time they brought it up, it did not sound like Jing Ting or however you say it. And I've heard it before. I'm like, so I have a vague idea of how it's supposed to be said, but they didn't ever pronounce it how I thought it was supposed to be said. And so that's the other
they said
thing.
they translated it to Japanese and they just said that. But the name I really liked, it was in Chinese, but it was that edgy guy, and his name was the Screaming Phoenix Killer. It's like, that's a cool name.
Imagine that's your whole name, Screaming Phoenix Killer.
Too bad he dies pretty early.
Zane, do you happen to know the scale of the puppets? Are they hand puppets as well?
Yeah, I think they're just like a hand. You put your hand in and you just like...
That's crazy because some of those puppets, man, they have very extremely detailed movement.
If you watch like the cinematography, like 95% of the shots are like from like the waist up.
Yeah, you can't.
So you never see their feet, and if you ever see their feet, it's they have like separate things. They have a guy doing this with separate feet that they film, and
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but it's fine. It's a mid story, just okay.
I liked a lot of the set pieces too, like especially at the end game set pieces were pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I do. Okay, there's a good moment from the story. It's the white haired guy steals the part of the sword, the hilt. He steals it from the girl like really early on, and that way when they get it, they don't actually get the real one. And I'm pretty sure that was episode 1 he did that. Because at one point early on he goes, hey, can I take a look at that? And I'm like, this freaking sleazeball, dude.
Yeah.
So here's my question I want to pose to you guys, though, and maybe we can draw parallels to other shows that are in the anime medium itself. But for me, I see this show kind of like, let's say Halo. Halo 1, for example. The gameplay of Halo, the puppetry of the show is really, really good. But the story itself is It's just And I didn't think it could work in a movie because I'm definitely watching a movie not for the medium itself, but like for a story. Give me something cool. It worked here, but once again, I think it's because I have a bias towards puppetry. Is there any other shows or any shows or anime movies in the anime genre itself that look really freaking pretty, but the story's but you still enjoyed it?
Gohan shows. All of their shows.
What are some of those?
Like they're going up the stairs and they like zoom in on their hand and they go up the stairs more.
Yeah. The quick
Whenever you think of Studio
shots.
Gohans, just think of that hand shot, and then
There's a show, especially one they had a big flagship series called K, which is the quick summary of the word. It's K.
There's an argument to be made about majority of Makoto Shinkai's movies. I think Your Name is good personally, but like Weathering with You, its plot's pretty generic and pretty but visually it's stunning. It's like one of the best looking things I've seen. Heck, even Suzume was kind of just like, but phenomenal views, like visuals.
So is the consensus then that you can have beautiful animation and an average story and it can still be enjoyable?
Yeah, sure, and that's what I think this was.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't hate my time watching this. If I would have hated it enough, I probably would have hit that little 2x speed, but I'm not that guy.
Well, I got a follow-up question for both of you then. And my answer is no to this, by the way. Would you guys watch more of the show?
No.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, definitely not for me.
Yeah, not for me either. Like, it's super cool, but, like, I've seen it. I've seen I don't know where they could go. Maybe there is places they could go
Well,
with the
they've already
puppetry
had.
that would shock me.
They already have more seasons of mine. It was confirmed. It was, or at the end of the first episode, confirmed for a sequel.
Oh yeah, I mean there's 4 seasons. This is the
Yeah.
4th season is airing this season.
Yeah. So they already had sequels in mind from the beginning. So
I'm
yeah.
sure it's got plenty of things they could tell, plenty of stories they could do.
They don't elaborate on anyone, like the two main characters don't really elaborate on backstory. They just have like, yeah, the white haired guy, he screwed over a lot of people in the past. And
yeah,
so they could go in
and
that.
the
Also,
black haired guy is like, how did he get all these swords? You know, like there's plenty of things.
He was on his way to another place, so it's like, where is he going?
Yeah, exactly.
See, and I guess what I was saying, not necessarily the story, but just the idea of puppets in general. Like, where can we go with puppets? What can they do to, like, blow me away more?
There's got to be more detailed puppets. I'm talking, like, literally, like, you see, like, their face, and it doesn't even look like a puppet anymore. Like, you can see the emotions and stuff in their face. Somebody can, like, manage and maneuver all that stuff. But at that point, like, once you get to the point where it's trying to replicate real life so much, why even bother?
Sure.
Like, you want to keep the charm of the puppetry, right. And so I don't think you ever go that far with puppets in that direction. But that's one of the ways they could go, is just make them more realistic.
And this was a conversation you and I had, I think, either this week or last week, but we were talking about is there a way that a puppet can enhance the show better than animation can? And I personally don't think there is. They used puppets back in the day because we didn't have technology to do CG and that kind of thing, animation. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that you can make a better show without using puppets. That's why I kind of fixated on the idea of just puppets in general when it came to this. That's what I was really kind of analyzing and really watching, and coincidentally became my favorite part of the show. But I just don't know if I would do more of that, because all the puppets are really cool, and there's probably cool things that they do in later seasons. I don't think that is enough, especially where the story I didn't really care for, nor did I care for really any of the characters for that matter. I don't think that's enough to keep me watching.
And that conversation that we had, mind you, I said all of those thoughts before I even watched episode 1.
Right.
And all those sentiments that I said back then, I still keep the same. So my whole thing was, just because you didn't really, I guess, discuss.
Sure, yeah.
It was, what does the medium of puppetry add to telling a story? And my argument was, I don't think it can add anything to a story, because there's nothing that they can do that we can't do with other things. Whereas, like, animation to live action, there's plenty of things that animation can do that live action just can't quite do. Something like changing the frame rate, because in, like, Spider-Man Miles Morales, like, when they have Miles Morales and Peter Parker swinging on a web, Miles is going, like, half frames where Peter's in the full 24 frames, and things like that would not look that good in live action, but they can get away with it really easily in animation. There's plenty of examples, like messing with color and things like that. You can do weird, wacky stuff with color. In, like, Zom 100 at the beginning, when all of the zombies are, like, getting slashed and stuff, their blood is all different colors of the rainbow. You do that in live action, it looks weird. It just kind of looks dumb. And so there's things that animation can do that live action can't, so I was basically trying to figure out if there's anything that puppetry can do that live action or animation can't do that it adds to. And more or less, I couldn't find anything while watching it. It was more or less just it was like anime, but not anime. And that's why we talked about at the beginning of the episode, it kind of fits in this bill.
Yeah.
So that's my piece on it, my stuff on it.
What are your thoughts, Thane?
I like it. I want more of it. I was actually going to start season 2 last night. I was like, nah, I should save it.
There you go.
You should let me know how the rest
I
of
think
it goes.
I think while you say the puppet, it could involve puppetry. I think the only thing it can involve is writing, and it's got a lot of room to tell a better. This feels like it's just a appetizer. I'm waiting for like the whole lore drop. It's like,
Fair.
where's this world going?
And it probably gets there. I
Yeah.
think another thing too, that if this was a Japanese show, I think I would be more interested because I'm more
It
familiar.
is.
Well, it's Taiwanese Japanese co-production.
See, that was the part that like it's more. I'm more familiar with like Japanese lore and mythology.
you mean like this is because it's Chinese mythology
yes,
stuff.
yeah,
Gotcha.
and the names too. Like if I was more familiar with Chinese mythology, like the whole sword thing you brought
Yeah.
up, where that was like the god of war. Like if that was like Orochimaru or anything that was familiar
Yeah,
to me,
fair.
I think I would be more inclined to continue with it. But there's just no familiarity there. Which, I mean, when I started watching anime, that's how it was. I had to keep watching. But the fact that we've seen hundreds of shows at this point that I am more familiar with, I don't know. I'd have to watch a ton more, I guess, Chinese shows at that point.
Looping my thoughts back together really quick. Earlier I mentioned how I would enjoy watching this in real life. I'd enjoy watching the puppets. And maybe that is a result of puppets, watching real life puppets do something in live action, like in real life, actually does add to the medium because you can watch it live at a theater. Like, sure, you can watch a play live, but puppets can do things that people can't do that well. Like, think about, like, crazy flying around and stuff. Sure, we can hook up a dude to a wire, but then, like, you can see the part of his clothes being tugged up from the wire, you know? It's like, there's a little bit of that going on. But, like, puppets, it doesn't affect anything because they're already not real. It's almost like live action to anime works on TV, and then live action to puppets works in real life viewing because the puppets fulfill the same role as anime does for their specific types of viewing.
I think what's fun about that too, though, and this is things that a lot of people I don't think about, specifically with, not that I've seen a lot of or if any puppet shows live, but I'm assuming that it translates too. But in like a lot of Jim Henson's movies, he had to design sets specifically for puppets. So what I mean by that is, if he's got a set with 30 goblin puppets on screen, how can I build this set so I can hide my 15 puppeteers? And also that they're able to like be able to still move the puppets and stuff. So they would build these big sets with holes cut out and different seats and platforms that all these guys can stand on. The behind the scenes of this kind of stuff is almost cooler to me than the actual show itself, because it brings on different challenges than something like an anime does. Like animation, like you already said, Cole, it's very limitless. Very limitless. Doing stuff with puppets, I feel like you're putting a limitation on yourself, and then you're seeing how you can work within your parameters that you've given, which is just the puppet medium itself. That to me is more interesting than I would say the show itself even.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's fine. I guess just from a viewer perspective then, like, it hurts the show in my opinion.
Yeah,
because they
the
are putting
average
limitations
viewer.
on their storytelling.
Yeah, the average viewer, it probably does stifle it a little bit. Once again, though, this goes back to, like, I think if you like puppets, you could like this show. If you like anime but you don't care for puppets, probably not so much.
But I think you'll still have an okay time with it. Like,
Yeah.
just like I did. I
Yeah.
think you'd be like, yeah, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
Just like every other isekai anime you watch. Because I know you're watching 5 per season. Like, come on,
Yeah.
guys.
It's
I'm
true.
with you, but come on. I'm not watching.
I think one more thing about the show is I thought what made me laugh out loud was like the evil guy was like being out like bested by the white-haired guy because he reveals that, oh, I'm actually a really good sword fighter this whole time, and he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna destroy the world and break the sword, and breaks, and the part that breaks off perfectly goes right through him, and I laugh out loud. It's like, that's what you get.
That was good. That was pretty good. And that's straight out of an anime. Like,
Yeah.
It feels right.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm interested in a season 2. I like those 2 characters that they had. It's like, where are they gonna go from here? We'll have to see. If they made 4 seasons, they must have gone somewhere. So
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Let us know what you think later on when we start watching through them.
Yeah.
If the puppets get like super crazy, let me know too, because that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think I'm just more interested in the writing because that's what really the show needs to lean hard on to be successful, and we'll see how it is. But for now, that's it. You guys wanted to say anything?
Oh no, I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah,
I've said my piece.
Yeah, that's it. Tell us what you think about the show. If you're a super fan, tell us why we're wrong about how season 1's actually genius or something.
Yeah. And like, don't take any of the stuff that I was saying about it to hurt what you like, because if you like it, like, that's on you. Like, I like stuff people hate.
I was watching Peely since I was a toddler. How dare you?
Well, now that we're wrapping up our episode right at the very end, it's that time that we always love where we're going to pick our next show. And of course, it is Skylar's turn to pick. What do you got for us, Sky?
Remember, everybody, I'm the wild card. I'm like half dumpies, half bangers. Well, all right.
Bangers, he says.
I like to pick shows that none of us have ever seen, although with Thane, it's kind of tricky. So I'm going to throw this one at you, Thane, because I doubt you've seen this.
Oh.
This show is called The Detective is Already Dead.
Dang, I have seen this one.
You're lying.
I am. I'm lying.
Have you seen it?
All I know is that Shirakami Fubuki and Natsuro Matsuri from Hololive cameo in it.
Oh, so it's a recent show.
Yeah.
Okay. The detective is already dead.
Yeah.
Got it.
I could say anything and you'll just know something about it. God.
He's like, there's these VTubers that were in it. At least he hasn't seen it, so none of us have seen it going into this.
I'm shocked now that I heard VTubers are in it that you haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, it's just a cameo. I just looked up the cameo and it's like, cool.
Oh, you looked up
so you saw the scene?
Yeah. Also, Inugami Korone was cameoed in the Yokai Watch anime. I was like, cool.
Okay, watch cool.
We'll see how that goes. I was gonna pick a fantasy show, but we just watched one, so I'm like, oh, let's shake it up.
Fair.
So
all right, so the detective is already dead. That's what we'll be watching over the next 2 weeks. Until then, everybody, have a great life, and we'll see y'all then.
Bye.
Bye.